I'm Christian, and today we're doing our presentation on the famous trading card game, or TCG, of Magic the Gathering. So, Magic has been around since 1993. Came out from Hasbro, I think, and it was developed by Wizards of the Coast, who made D&D and other fun games that you probably heard. But you have no idea how big these guys are. So now, Magic right here has been around for a while. It's over 20 years old. It's almost as old as Mason, but probably younger. We have the color palette here, which they represent each of the colors in Magic. I have it all set up right here. If you take a look of the representation of the color palette, we have red, which is the mountain, green forest, white for plains, and blue for island, and black for
swamps.
Yes. And we're gonna be diving in a little bit into how good they are financially, how the game is good financially, and if you're starting up new and if you want to get into a game, we're going to have that all covered for you. But we're going to explain what each of these colors do first, and what the creatures do. Alright, plains. That's my color. I love plains. I love white, represented as the sun or white. As you can see here in this art right here, it's represented. Right here, take a look. So if it's glaring, it's on my fault because it's dragon shields, because it's awesome. But yeah, also product placement. So yep, this is in land, and what's this? The color of the order, the color of it, which is equality, order, righteousness, and etc. many more. And what this does, this color really strengthens little dudes, like little guys. It helps them build them up, helps them stay a threat on the game of Magic, and also can either give them life or anything else. Red, my favorite color in Magic, red. Red is represented as the mountain, but that symbol is not a mountain, but take a look at here, it's another color of the mountain, or a variation of the land of a mountain. Okay, so red, which is kind of funny, it's more destruction, more aggressive and aggro. It's actually the color of freedom, chaos, and passion. And Business Hub is all about finding your passion, so I really love this color. And also it's good on little dudes, little cheap costing dudes that do big things. Red creatures are very cheap, they're aggressive, and they're powerful in what they do. That's why I run two color combinations decks, which I'll talk about later. Me and my friend will discuss later. And now, we'll go over to green. Green, do you know a lot about green?
Well, more or less. I've dabbled with green. And what green represents is usually, it's almost on the red side as aggressive, but not as aggressive. It usually represents life, nature, adaptability. Because mostly red is destroying green, and green is just trying to bring it back alive. They're big and powerful, and they tend to help creatures get bigger and add more power to themselves as they help the other creatures.
And green is representative of the forest, which pretty much of life and nature, and that's what green's all about. Pretty much green creatures are big and powerful, just like red. They're not cheap, they're very big. I call them fatties, like me. See, these fatties, what they are, they're big and powerful creatures with high mana cost, and they can destroy and wreck you if you're not too careful. They add more to help the player, and they do a lot too. I'm going to leave it over to Christian to explain what black is.
Alright, black, my personal favorite color. It is usually represented as the swamps, as in the dangerous places in Magic. What they're mostly known for is for power, for greed, and for death. And
usually because there's a skull for the
for
the cards of swamps.
And death is usually brought around when you play against a black player, not necessarily for all of them, but for most of them, yeah, you will encounter death. Black players and or creatures are usually meant to be bringing back creatures from the grave onto the battlefield, but sometimes they only stay for that turn and not necessarily for the entire duel. Also, some black cards are for collecting the remains of others and using it as their own strengths. And it seems like a kind of twisted way, but in reality it's only to gain power, so they just do whatever it takes no matter what the cost.
Yeah, black is also Well, it's true. That's what he said. I dabble a little bit in black, but black, I can tell it's really a lot to deal with death, and it has to deal with, like, from your creature's death and anything else. Or if you're attacking and, you know, you block them, they usually die because they have an ability.
And blue, the islands. This is a color that's not usually used because the fact that it's the weakest color, but it's also one of the most manipulative colors. Blue,
and annoying.
Yes, very annoying. Blue is not usually taken seriously because of the fact that, like I said, it's the weakest, but also the most manipulative. Because of the fact that if you have, say, if we're playing against a green player, a green is going to use a bunch of its mana in order to put down a big creature. Blue will just simply negate that effect. It will basically not allow it to put it on the field. Blue, yes, Jaime?
Yes, I am recollecting of many blue counter spells that you have thrown my way.
Blue is also known for being control and evasive. What that means is blue is not powerful by itself. Therefore, it teams up with other colors in order to become more powerful. So blue is usually combined with white and red, so that it becomes a red, white, and blue control deck.
America.
Yeah, America.
Or in the new set of Khans of Tarkir, it is usually Jeskai for the clan that they're called, but Wizards probably had made a previous name before it, or it's usually called America.
Yes, you have that. And, let's see. Yeah, blue is already known for being manipulative, so they stay in the background. They try and make themselves not noticed in the game, so once they feel a threat is coming upon, they start negating and targeting that player until that player becomes either part of their control, or they can no longer cast anything and their field is completely open.
So pretty much on top of blue is pretty much they like to gain advantages by countering your spells or by card advantages or sometimes taking an extra turn or by actually controlling the whole board. You might not think that it's the weakest card, like this card right here. You might not think it's nothing or anything at all. It's probably one of the most manipulative, really underestimated card in Magic of blue. And I have highly respects for people who use blue in the right way and annoying way, and that they're very annoying and they have a big and also, but it's pretty much blue is just there. It's just there for manipulative. They're very intelligent. Like blue represents intelligence, trickery, and manipulation, as he just said, and they're represented as for other things of higher intelligence and beings of what blue is represented for. Now, I want to real quick give you a little bit of a background on how to play Magic. Real quick, simple, sweet, and short. Alright, imagine the world of Magic. You're this thing called a Planeswalker, and what you do is that you use these cards. These cards are called mana, and with that mana, you use to cast spells. And what you do is try to destroy the other player, make sure their whole graveyard or like decks inside the graveyard by another player, or you just beat them out by killing them or making them lose life or you gaining life. That's pretty much it, and I won't go into the steps. Like there's a first main phase. No wait, there's an upkeep, untap step, main phase, declare your attacking phase, then your post combat, then your second main phase, then your end step. That's pretty much, yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh, as you said, it's pretty much, or Magic, which is merchant, which is pretty much anything else. Now we're gonna go back to the different type of archetypes of decks. I wanted to draw stuff with this smart board, but no, that's not happening. So I'm just gonna, if you could paste with my finger, this finger right here, what archetypes I personally like to build is this. Okay, so you have your archetypes. You have the aggressive, the mid-range, and you have the tempo, and then you have the controlling decks. Those four, which are the most highly played in Magic. I'm going to talk about two of them. I'm talking about aggressive and mid-range. Aggressive is more cheap creatures, kill your enemy quicker. Like at least by turn 5, they should be dead. So the best thing I personally like to use is red and white. These two, red, white, aggro. These two, like I got started hooked on playing with Magic with these two colors, and they're really good together. Same thing, like any of these colors can actually match up with any color in the color pie. The color pie, not ply. The color pie. And what they actually do is that they benefit each other. Cards help each other out. It's not just you going, hey guys, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. No, it's actually you and other cards doing stuff, so you can like make sure that player hates you for doing stuff. Especially with blue. Yeah, especially with that little blue guy. So, red white's one of those great archetypes. If you want tempo, a mid-range deck, and a little bit of a tempo, you might want to run let's go with mid-range. Green, white. White can help you and boost your green actually helps the player a lot. It gives them mana, so they can cast fatties, and they can do a lot of stuff. White makes them bigger and buffer with enchantments. And if you want to look this up, just go to Google. You have it in the world, or Bing. And these two are mid-range, so like for turn 3 or 4, you should already have your threats on the board, and that's when you start controlling the board. These two are one of the most powerful archetypes, as well as red, white aggro that I play with personally. Now I'm going to leave it over to Christian so he can explain what control and tempo is about.
Yes, thank you, Jaime. Now, as you know, control and tempo are probably not the most appreciated because of the fact that they consider them weak. They consider them reckless or useless. Blue and black, they are by themselves not very powerful, but together can be very destructive. I run myself a blue-black mill and counter deck.
It's
and control. What that represents is my deck is full with nothing but kill spells and counter spells. And what that means is whenever my opponent wants to play down a spell, I will just simply counter it so it does not stay on the field. Or if they have a creature on the spell, I will just simply kill it using a black spell. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that it's all revolved around counters and just destroying cards. No. I run cards that specifically are based around those areas. What I mentioned before in black is they feed off of other people, off their opponents' graveyards. Thank you. This creature I have, it's a star, which means it doesn't necessarily have a power. It's based on whatever is around it. So, if my opponent's graveyard is around 20, its power and toughness become 20. If it's 40, they become 40. If it's 60, they become 60. And by then, the game would have already been mine, because the opponent can have the minimum of 60 cards, and let's face it, Jaime, I've milled you more times.
Yes, and also fog. Just for the lulz. But anyways, yes, those are one of the many deck archetypes. Now, since this is Business Club and business is a part of Magic, I'm going to talk about a few formats that is very good and financially good for you. Not like, alright, Magic, if you're new to it, you're going to be open your eyes to many, many worlds. First, what do you do if you want to get into Magic? You see me or Christian or Ben or Diego or Mason back in the day when he actually was young play Magic.
Wait,
Yeah,
you were
see?
young?
Yeah, he was actually. How, Mason, were you young?
I just always have been.
In his mind. So, what I want to say is this: for beginning Magic players, we have little things called the Fat Packs. Fat Packs give you 9 booster packs. They give you a 10 set of land of like this color pie right here. They give you 10 lands of this, 10 lands of this, 10, 10, 10. So you can help start out making your deck. But you want to have friends like me and Christian here to help you out with those decks so you can make it more efficient and you could just destroy people in tournaments. Because you could be the next Shenhar, which he is the most recent. He's 2015 World Magic the Gathering. He just won the World Magic Prix over in, I don't know, some other place. But I saw the stream and wow, he won. He's the best player. He's the best player. Shahar Shenhar. That's his name. So, yeah, you want to start with the Fat Pack. Or there's many other things. But, yeah. But here's the financial value of this. This right here, this Fat Pack, alright, you want to get into Magic, alright? $40. The reason why I say $40 is because it has 9 boosters and retail booster packs cost $4. $4 of either, so that's $36 right there. Plus, the land, you know, they're like what, like 10 cents to 5 per land? So that's like what, 50? That's like already like a few dollars, like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
You're pretty much getting screwed on this. And it's like, if you're new to it, yeah, it's cool to get it because you make a deck out of it. But some of those cards in there could be really rare and super beneficial. And if you're new, I would suggest getting into the recent sets of Dragons of Tarkir, Khans of Tarkir, and Fate Reforged. Of this time of the recording, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but yeah. you could try with the Fat Pack. It's helpful for new players, but it's going to cost a pretty penny. But the funniest thing is, Fat Packs are actually valuable than they're worth, depending on the set. Because Fat Pack of Worldwake, right?
Yep.
With these 4 Zendikar lands, which are beautiful, by the way. I appreciate that you have them. These are very beautiful cards. On Amazon, just one of them, one of this blue one, goes for about $9. $12. Just because these lands are so beneficial. And they actually shot up in price. So you would be surprised how much you're actually spending on until later. Because it's pretty much like you're starting a business. You put a little bit of money, and then over time you see it grow. With me, it's taken me 3 years to get my deck to where it's at. And right now that thing's probably worth over $80 because of the cards I bought, the cards I saw that were worth financially. It's pretty much like you're playing a little bit of a stock market with these cards. You have to pick the good ones, and you have to keep them, or you can trade them, because trading value is just as much. But anyways, and some cards from Magic are worth a lot of money from the older sets. I'm going to take you back to Alpha, when they just started out. It's Wizards of the Coast. They just started out, there's this one card, that I found out this guy pulled it in from a fresh start. It's called, what, Black Lotus?
Yeah, Black Lotus.
Black Lotus. That card is a 0-cost card. You sacrifice, you get 3 color mana of any choice. That card right there, in mint condition, is worth over $300,000 from a set that's over 20. Yeah, 300. How do you do that? I don't know how he did it, but hey, he got an old booster box or old starter pack of it. And Dragons of Tarkir. Oh, time. But anyways, I wanted to, if you want to, I can't explain a lot of Magic, but I can explain, like, if you're new, try getting into Standard. Try, alright? Just try getting into that. If you want, there's many other ways of getting it. If I were you, I have this guy named Tolarian Community. You should subscribe to him. He's really good at what he does. Let's see. This is another thing of if you want to get into Magic. This is it worth it to buy an intro pack by Tolarian Community College? He's very great at what he talks about. This one will talk to you about the financial value, the playability, and how well you would do it in a tournament. And I'm going to play the video.
Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy an intro pack? Intro packs are often touted as being a starting point for new players, so this is a question often asked by people new to the game. But experienced players often wonder if intro packs are a good way to amass cards from a new set. So do intro packs have value to new players, or experienced, or possibly both, or perhaps neither? Let's take a look. As of Return to Ravnica, intro packs now contain 2 booster packs. This change helped to raise their base value considerably. For the purposes of this video, I will be examining the value of intro packs as it relates to this new system. In other words, from Return to Ravnica forwards. Using a price of $4 per booster pack and about $10 for the intro pack, this means that if you were someone who would have bought the 2 booster packs individually, then you are only spending $2 more for the contents of the intro pack. What does that $2 get you? One-word answer: bulk. With very minor exceptions, intro packs are comprised entirely of what we'd call bulk cards. Mostly bulk commons, some bulk uncommons, and exactly 2 bulk rares. What is bulk? Bulk is a term used to define Magic cards of the most minimal value, typically with little to no playability. These are cards that do not see much, if any, play in constructed decks at your local Friday Night Magic, let alone more competitive events. So that $2 gets you a pile of commons and uncommons from several recent sets, including the new set, and a foil promo of a bulk rare. Now, it is not always what we would call a bulk rare, as there have been some very isolated incidents over the last several years where a playable rare or uncommon has made its way into one of the intro packs. But the vast majority of the time, you are getting a rare that will never see constructed play, or, if it does, will never achieve any real value exceeding $1. It's a foil, and it is usually more or less unplayable in constructed formats. Beyond that, you are getting a selection of mostly commons, some uncommons, and 1 additional rare. Still, $2 for 2 rares, one of which may actually be playable in constructed, and a handful of commons and uncommons for only $2. If you're taking a loss here, at least it's a minimal loss. And if you are that very new player needing somewhere as a starting point, at least you can have a very basic deck for that $10. Except that booster packs don't always cost $4 each. As I discussed in my Fat Pack video, buying in bulk lowers the cost of boosters considerably. And going off of the basis of $100 for a booster box actually gives us the price of $275 per booster pack. Now those 2 boosters only hold a value of $550, and thus for your 2 rares and a handful of commons, you've paid an extra $450. Suddenly, this isn't so worth it anymore. Let's do the numbers, only for the new style intro packs from Ravnica forward. As you can see, in the entire Ravnica block, out of 15 intro packs, not 1 intro pack would let you break even. Only 1 comes close. Out of the next 3 sets, M14 and the previous 2 in Theros, still none is worth that extra $450. Only 1 comes close. What about the added value from those booster packs? Well, as you know, this is a gamble. Sure, maybe you'll crack open a $40 Mythic, making that $10 for the intro pack well worth it. But it's all chance. Here's the 2 boosters from the pack I opened. I still lost money. Again, this is a gamble, and I could have won big, but like all gambling, the odds are stacked against me. I opened the other 4 intro packs from this set, and I'll post those pack openings over the next few weeks. But the $50 I spent on these 5 intro packs could have gotten me a playset of Shocklands, and still left me with just under $10 to buy additional cards that I might need for my constructed deck. In the long run, buying the singles you need is more financially viable. Final conclusion. For a brand new player to the game, with 0 cards whatsoever, buying 1 intro pack might be a fun way to ease into the game. What about the rest of us? For each day, each minute since you've started playing this game, an intro deck becomes less and less worth it. For even casual players, as long as you have already started your collection, then it's simply not worth it. Keep in mind, this is from a strictly financial standpoint. If you have fun and enjoyment buying an intro pack during pre-release, then more power to you. This is a game, and the point is to have fun. And if you're doing that and you're having fun, then you're doing it right. But financially speaking, an intro pack is not.
Well, I hope this was, hopefully it was worth it. You finding out on Magic. If you want to learn anything else or more on Magic, I expect you to, well, I don't expect you, just go to the Tolarian Community College on YouTube. Look up actually the Magic community is having a sudden growth on YouTube. So if I were you, go check them out. More power to you. And if you are very interested in Magic or anything else, and you see people playing them, ask them questions. You know, we're not mean. We know you're curious. We're nice people. Yes. So come on.
You're not gonna treat them like noobs?
Yeah, we're not gonna treat them like noobs. We're gonna make sure you understand the game and make sure you have fun while doing it. Then, at least by the 4th or 5th time you're playing the game, we'll treat you like noobs. Yeah. All right then. Thank you, and hopefully this presentation had given you a better understanding of Magic the Gathering. And bless you, Mason. A better understanding of Magic the Gathering player, the card game. And if you have any more questions, you can always go to Wizards of the Coast and check out. They have how to play and what's involved in everything. Thank you for your time and play soon. Woo!